about, right? I'm gonna.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. So welcome to Blockchain Africa interview. This is Perebo Adunwan, your host, and with me I have um, Mr. Kenneth. So you are, with what I told Mr. Goodwin, you are the founder of Genesis. Sorry if I'm missing that. Jeanensis Ventures Blockchain Advisory, right?
Yes, you nailed it, man. You hit a home run. You're great. Jeanensis Ventures and also the 144 Trailblazer Fund, which is going to be the first African American or Black and Brown. Uh, they want to call us misrepresented managers. Security Token Orphan Fund that's
Wow.
digitized the venture capital space. So
Wow.
we're smashing the entire VC industry. I won't say smashing it, but what we're doing is we're elevating the venture capital industry to another level, where it
Wow. That's
allows
awesome.
for the funding to occur a lot faster because normally it takes for misrepresentative or misrepresented founders a lot longer. It takes us anywhere between about 2 to 3 years to raise capital.
That's
So we
true.
want to narrow that down, Dumo, to about 6 to 9 months.
Wow.
The sooner you get the money, the sooner you're able to make decisions, and the sooner you're able to grow your business. That's really what we're trying to do.
Wow. That's going to be awesome. It's going to be a relief to a whole lot of startups. That's
Yes,
great.
I mean, that's the whole idea. I mean, feed them as soon as they can because your intellectual property is your financial energy. That's
Wow.
your energy, right? So we're key on trying to get them the idea. This is why we say manage capital because you have to manage your ability to manage your balance sheet, your income statement, your statement of cash flow. But a lot of us don't have that capital because we don't have that generational wealth. So it's
Wow.
hard
That's
for
true.
you to say to, a BIPOC founder, hey, manage your capital when you don't have anything.
True.
But your intellectual property, your ideas and thoughts
Wow.
is energies of vibration to the universe. So it has value, it has unlimited value, and use that intellectual property as a way of value. So we're saying, hey, if we can get you money sooner and you're able to manifest that intellectual property into a product or a service, and then you can help your community. That's how you get economic development and growth. You're able to hire people, right? You're able to change lives. So that's that social impact that we're talking about. Being able to, take it from the idea to the manifestation to building the community and eventually rebuilding the world in a faster time period.
Wow. That's great. I'd like us to move into our topic for today. We're looking into the future of DeFi and NFT. I would like to ask, so can you tell us what exactly is DeFi and what's NFT?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'll be very blunt with you. I am not the expert on either one of the two.
Okay.
I will give credit to a gentleman who I know very well, who I don't want to expose his name. Well, I'm going to be very blunt, right? Reggie Middleton, who's one of
Okay.
us, African American. Essentially, he takes the claim for decentralized finance.
Wow.
I view decentralized finance in a very unique way. I like to say it is the digitization of the treasury function. And
Okay.
what I mean by that, a lot of people don't get this here because at the end of the day, the treasury function of any institution, any organization is responsible for managing your balance sheet and your liquidity.
Yeah.
That's the key there. And what's happening with DeFi, DeFi gives you an opportunity to automate that and digitize that. Non-fungible tokens, NFTs,
Mm.
is just a way, and most people like to tie it on to entertainment and sports, but I think our conversation today, there's other opportunities too. So it doesn't have to be entertainment and sports. Non-fungible tokens is another way to own an asset based on a digitized platform. And
Okay.
so you and I, we can give you an example, we can, we may not own Picasso, but if we actually digitize Picasso take a photo of it, then we all have an opportunity to create a new market that allows us to be owners of it. Now, the big issue behind NFTs is that intellectual property, right? That IP. Who actually owns the IP behind that? So that's another question in itself. But I think there's an opportunity to put the two together. And
Okay.
I was just, oh man, I was just looking at a company that is doing that actually. There, I can't think of the name of it, but the gentleman is Ben Layoff, and he's got a company that actually puts both of these two together. It's called Charged Particles,
Okay.
and I like what he's doing because I think Charged Particles is basically what they're doing is, and let me just, if I can just, boy, I was just looking at this today, and I said, boy, these guys are onto something here. I mean, anytime when you can create value, so they're just basically taking this interest-bearing non-fungible token, the DeFi NFTs, and they're tying that to an underlying asset, and it allows them to accrue interest over time. So they are basically creating the idea, and it's going back again, Adumo, to this idea of that treasury function, right? So we were talking about non-interest bearing assets and really non-interest bearing liabilities too, because you
Yeah.
got the asset side and the liability side also.
True.
But now you're tokenizing that with the NFT, which that allows you to create that secondary marketplace, which is what we really need for that token. So that allows for additional interest income to come in. So that's that additional liquidity pool. And that's what he's doing. He's putting the two together. And I like that idea because I think that's where it's going to offer the most value.
Okay. Thank you very much. So, what's the advantages of DeFi over CeFi, like the centralized finance?
Over CFI.
Yeah.
That's a great question. I think a lot. No, it's an excellent question. I think a lot of it has to do with kind of and I default back to an accounting structure. Um, I do believe that DeFi offers more better products to be structured from. So let's say if I want to, develop, let's say like a security, not just a security token, but derivative. I think that DeFi allows that to happen. I'll give you a prime example with central bank digital currencies.
Okay.
The ability for them to maybe do a central bank digital currency swap. That could be a DeFi tool for those central bank digital currencies. So that structure is a much more secure platform. And you have to have that secure platform in place because you're dealing with information that's not, it can't be publicly available when you deal with government. So you have to have your own kind of infrastructure or your private ecosystem. I think that's where DeFi benefits the most. But
Okay.
it depends on who the stakeholders are.
Yeah. So, yeah. Thank you very much for that clarity. So, how revolutionary actually is DeFi?
Not really. Not really. Not really. And here's why I say that.
Okay.
Because I've been exposed to this, and no disrespect to my dear friend, the gentleman I mentioned earlier. I mean,
Okay.
he takes a claim to fame in 2014 as to creating this product. I do believe that this product has been around a little bit longer, but may not have been exposed. Um, I think the automation of it is gotten better in terms of the algorithms, the applications, the use cases for it has improved tremendously. And I think when you do that, and I mean, what I mean by that, it's not just in terms of finance.
Okay.
You can use DeFi for farming, right? So one of the biggest challenges that we have today is food sustainability. That's around the globe.
Okay.
Everywhere around the globe, people are trying to figure out how they can better use the supply chain to help them to sustain food because there's a food crisis. And so DeFi helps the farmers in a way to maybe get that extra liquidity to buy the seeds to plant the crop to feed us.
Okay.
So in that sense, it actually helps us to manage our crop production. It's part of that supply chain. It's part of that food sustainability that we need. So I think it's all about the application that's really important. How do you apply it for social impact? The finance industry is loving it now because they can relate that back to cash flow.
Yeah.
Anytime we talk about cash flow and earnings, you talking about the statement of cash flow right there. And that's easy for a finance person. We know the changes in investment, the changes in capital. We know the changes in operations. So we know the components of it, and we can visualize how that vehicle will work. But now you got to kind of move it away from the me component to the we component and utilize that for the good of a country. I like to see Africa to be the next, decentralized finance capital of the world, or Africa as a country to be a smart country instead of smart cities, a smart country.
Yeah.
Where not it could actually implement DeFi, it could implement non-fungible tokens, but it can implement that in these kind of four pillars: land, air, water, and sun. Right?
Okay.
So land is that earth, is that farming, the ability to take that land and your ability to build assets off it. Air is the ability to kind of go back into energy, right? That whole ESG, carbon sequestration. How do we manage that? And you can use that to a non-fungible token, and you can tie that to DeFi. Water is using the waterway, and the sun, right? Sun goes back to electricity. So if
Yeah.
Africa can kind of piecemeal that all together, there's a great opportunity there for the continent.
Yeah, that's possible, and we want to see the future of that actually. Thank you very much. I just have one last question. With the cryptocurrency markets, we're seeing actually hitting a bear run, and a lot of persons are already panicking, seeing the continuous decrease. I want to ask, what's your advice to the youth in Africa, or as regards DeFi and NFT?
I would say here's a lesson I learned in this space. Definitely surround yourself with people who are smarter than you,
Wow.
who also have the same passion. Build a community, build your own community. There's no need for Africa to rely on Bitcoin.
Okay.
The mindset, the intellectual talent and the intellectual property is in Africa. If that wasn't the case, Jack Ma would never have ran over there. I mean, he ran to Africa saying, hey, this is the future. The same with Jack Dorsey. He did the same thing. So we know Africa is, don't wait to 2030. Now, don't give this decade up to another country. I won't say the name of that country, but we know who they are.
Oh yeah, we
Right?
do. We do.
We know who they are.
Yeah.
So why wait to 2030 where you have now, now is the time you have the nuggets of wisdom now to build up an ecosystem. I would say also never be greedy. It's bigger than you. All this is bigger than you. I mean, if you start thinking it's about me, and you start to trade, which most people do. I mean, they look at DeFi, they buy NFTs, and it's great. It's great for personal wealth, but like everything goes up and down. NFTs in about a couple of years will be gone. It's like, to me, I look at NFTs, I think of the ICO marketplace, initial coin offering marketplace. It was here and it was gone. But you got to take that and you have to ask yourself, how do I reapply that to a bigger ecosystem
Oh,
and a
that's
bigger
true.
community? Because it is technology, but you can make it better.
Yeah.
And so what I like for Africa to do is collectively come together and make it better. Make it better than what you see in Europe. Make it better than what you see in North America, South America. They should be coming to Africa. Africa should be DeFi NFT, where people are traveling to Africa, and they're not just traveling there just to meet folks and be a part of this DeFi ecosystem, but they can get NFT. And I give you like the tourism industry. You can kind of NFT for places in Africa where people could benefit and get tokens, and they can use that locally to buy goods and services, and it would actually create this kind of circulation, the economic development that's needed in that community. So all these things have, it has to occur collectively, but it has to be with the mindset is bigger than me.
Yeah.
That's really the key. And it's a lesson I learned in this space. We're working with some leaders who are in this space. They don't ever think about themselves. They actually think collectively. When I look at Algorand, that they're thinking, how can we overtake Ethereum?
True.
Right? Right. All right. So in order for them to do that, they can't think of this one vertical. They can't just think, uh, Ethereum 2.0. They got to think, how can we be better than 2.0 and
Yeah.
be a 3.0? And then how can we apply this to multiple different verticals, multiple different industries? That's a different mindset than saying, oh, we got one application, it only works here. So, Africans, I would say, we can do it. We done it before. I mean, we built the
Yeah, we
pyramids.
can. We can. Yeah.
We're the alpha and omega. So we'll be the first. We are the first, and we'll be the last. And we'll create the solutions for all the challenges that are presenting to us.
Yes, we
So all
will.
this crazy challenges that are out there, somebody in Africa will provide a solution for it.
Yeah. Yes, somebody will provide the solution. And I actually would be surprised if you come down to Africa to have a team that's going to solve at least an issue or the other.
Exactly. What I was thinking of, and before this call, I was thinking of that whole how the best way for to gamify this both the DeFi and NFT, because I think that the trick is gamification. This generation is used to following the actual NFTs. Uh, the DeFi still has room. Actually, it has a lot of
Mhm.
room to work, not just
Oh,
on the actual structure side, but also on the product side too. If you do product finance, you can DeFi almost any industry. And the NFT portion of it, if it's applied right, and I like to use farming for example. I'll give you an example why I think farming works so well for NFT.
okay.
Most farmers, they don't really make as much money, and they need more money to develop their farms. They need money for seeds, for materials, for machineries. And so let's say if we do a non-fungible token for a farm where people visit the farm and they're able to use that token as a way as a reward system. So it attracts people to go to that farm,
True.
or the farm itself could be the NFT and people still are able to invest in that NFT. And on the DeFi side, the farmers have an access to additional source of liquidity. So they can always take that token and they can go on secondary markets and trade that token or lend that token out, and that token be staked. So there's ways to kind of structurally finance this together. And I think because Africa has so much land and water, and it has wind, it has sun, all these things are opportunities that if we apply correctly from a DeFi NFT basis, it would impact the entire continent. And I think if whoever has the mindset for that will do very, very well for the entire continent.
Wow. Thank you very much, Mr. Kenneth. No, I've actually put down some some ideas as you were talking, and we'll see Africa become who she has been created to be. Over time, with more creative minds, we will get there. Thank you very much. It's been an awesome time with you. Thank you, sir.
Uh, Thank you so much, Adumo. It's an honor and a privilege to be on Blockchain Africa. I would advise that all the audience take the time to listen, follow Blockchain Africa. They are always grateful and always trailblazing.
Oh, thank you, sir. Nice having you around.